like yours will surely come my way. Hey, hey, hey. Every day seems a little longer. Every way love's a little stronger. Come what may, do you ever long for true love from me? There you go, and baby, here am I. Will you left me here so I could sit and cry? Well, golly gee, what have you done to me? Well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Love you like I do.
A shot of one of the most notorious guys that raced back in the day, another pioneer, Coney Island Ralph, and we have his car here today, the Anglia, but also who just walked over was Bernie Schechter. And Bernie is a real pioneer, goes way back to the days of Mike SFORZA and all the original guys that raced back in the early 50s and are still around today to talk to us and tell us some of the experiences that they had. So Ralph, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Well, I thank you very much. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to have you guys around. So you surprised your car is here, because I know you didn't bring it.
I cried.
I'm going to interrupt. We have another couple of special guests here that we like to bring in. Billy Lynch.
All right, we're bringing Billy Lynch.
Good old friend of Ralph.
Sure, Billy Lynch,
Billy Lynch
with the dragster.
Soon working.
And hello, Billy.
Hi, how are you?
And where's George Snizek? The Pacers, and this is what the show is all about. You know.
Nice to see you, Ralph.
Georgie, always a pleasure. Stand here, make sure that we get you on camera. You know. So the Anglia's here, and you know what's going on. You're still racing. I know you were racing.
I'm just talking to Tom Beard. Do you know Tom Beard?
No, I don't.
Well, these are racers from way back in the Hamptons. And
don't forget, I'm a Westchester guy.
I don't get to the track much. You know, I've got a good car, but there's three things you need. You need a good car, right. You need luck,
and you need money.
And you need a good driver.
Oh well, that's
I haven't been able to find a good driver in the last 2 years.
Really?
You know, Donnie Saban drove for me. He was good 2 years in a row, but he went into house renovations, so
you lost him.
That was it. So I won't give the car up just to see it out there. But Tom may drive it at Englishtown at the divisional. I hope.
That's terrific.
You got three good drivers right here. You never asked us.
How about that? See, I was thinking about that, but you know, I didn't want to be the one to bring it up.
I started with a stock.
Okay. A lot of anticipation. I think it's the hardest class to run. Between,
it is.
you know, you don't have any electronics. It's all off the foot brake and your reaction to the tree, you know.
Now, Bernie, I know, was a real craftsman. Did you do any driving as well?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
did
did,
you?
yeah, for quite a few
I'm
years.
younger, you know, so
Yeah.
I mean, that's why
It was,
I
I
don't
guess,
have that memory.
I started in hot rods in 1956 when I got out of the Navy, and West Hampton just opened, and I had a Roadster out there.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
From then on, it was, after the Roadster, it was all dragsters, right up to top fuel. I didn't get quite as far as Billy. Billy went past me, but he's a young guy.
You know, the other funny thing, we all started with roadsters. Yeah. Yep, that's right. It's another thing.
So none of you drove regular, normal cars?
Oh, yeah, but I mean, in racing, we started driving a roadster.
Really?
Yeah.
Billy's got his beautiful dragster out there. He brings it out. It's his original car, and of course we're going to let Billy introduce himself and tell us a little bit about your day.
Well, it's a. I started off with this car running top gas, and with Mike SFORZA's encouragement, we took the gas engine out, and we started running top fuel, and we were very successful in running the top fuel. And I stayed in top fuel up until 1970, and I got out, raised a family, and got back in it in 1990 with the rear engine car. And I had some of the big names working for me and driving for me, Al Segrini and crew chief Leonard Hughes and Big Jim Dunn and Ken Benny. They all worked for me from 90 to 96.
Now this is, so that people know, this is your original car.
This is a recreation of the original car. The original car was wrecked up in Dover, New York. And
Really? I don't remember that. What year was that? That must have been in the 70s.
1969. Jack Elsey was driving.
Oh, sure.
That was my car.
You know, it's funny, after all this time, we never mentioned names that I'm familiar with. That's my area.
Jack Elsey is still alive. He's down in Florida.
Is he?
Yeah. After the accident, he was in the hospital for 9 months in traction. And they had brought the car. He was in the process of going through a divorce, and they brought the car, and they dumped it in his driveway, and his wife scrapped everything.
What a shame. What a shame. So this is a complete replica, eh?
This is a replica that was done by, the chassis and body was done by Pat Forster out of Moscow, Idaho. And I did all the engine work and assembly of the car.
Now it's strictly for show. And of course the awards and the inductions that you get, that you're considered and that, you know, you're privy to when, like Henderson, they inducted you down in Henderson.
Correct.
So that's basically what the car's used for now.
Yeah, we use it for Cackle Fest shows.
Yeah. Which I was going to mention before. We're going to hear that in a few minutes. I know Dennis is running around out there getting all the fuel ready to start him up. And we're going to go to George. And
Yes.
you're going to fire your car up too, right?
Yes, yes. That's what we look forward to coming here.
No, it's a great show every year. I mean, you know, all the pioneers get together, and for the people up in the out of the areas, they get a chance to see you guys and find out about you guys, and get the information that what it was like, you know, back in the old days, back in the good days. I mean, that was drag racing.
That was real good racing back then. Didn't need a whole lot of money like you need now. Except nowadays, it separated the men from the boys. It's all big money and sponsors, and
you know what? It's a whole different atmosphere. Even the people are not. I don't see them being friendly like everybody was back in the day, where you helped one another, even though you ran against one another. You helped one another. You did something. Yeah. I don't see that on television today. So I don't know. Maybe it's a lost art. Maybe it's the different personalities, but it's a shame. Yeah. You know. And that's why I prefer to come to an event like this, you know, and talk to the older guys, see the cars, and be around, you know, people like yourselves, where, you know, it's comfortable and everybody is friendly, as opposed to going to the track and you know what, you see the same guys running 4 or 5 different cars now. Yeah. That was unheard of.
Same winners.
You know, yeah. But anyway, I know you're getting ready to start up the cars, so we're gonna wait for a few minutes, and then we're gonna go out and start up the cars. Ralph,
Thank you.
it's been a pleasure. Bernie, it's always a pleasure. George, thank you so much. All right, Billy, you guys treat us so nice out here, and I really appreciate it.
frame of reference. That's as much.
What would a show out in Long Island be without one of the pioneers, Mike SFORZA? Mike has been around, and I'm gonna let him tell the story. Mike has been around from the early days of drag racing, and he was at the first NHRA event, and that's what we're going to talk about. So, Mike, welcome to Cars and Us. It's always a pleasure to see you out here.
Same here.
And listen, we haven't seen you in 2 years, but everything okay on your end? What's new in your life these days?
I'm all right. A little trouble with my wife right now, you know, but I'm still active yet.
You look terrific. I mean, I'm not going to give away your age, but you know what? Let people guess about it. But you know what? You do go back a long way. As I said, you're a true pioneer.
Yeah, I was back in the 40s with it.
Well, that gives it up a little bit. But you know what I did want to ask you about, so the viewers know. Tell me about the experience, the first NHRA drag race event
in Great Bend.
Out in
Great Bend, Kansas.
Right.
Well, it was a.
Now tell us what car you were running and.
We had a 1932 Ford with the Chrysler Hemi. At that time, it was a pretty known car, the Pride of the East. It was in many of the magazines. In fact, I just finished making the 4-car manifold for this Hemi, and part of the way we drove it, towed and drove.
Really?
And when we got there, the people there was great. They welcomed us. The Chrysler dealer came over to us. They gave us a spot.
No kidding.
Took the whole front of the shop.
You had the Hemi in it.
I had the Hemi in it.
Right.
And they treated us like, I can't tell you, the guy took us out to dinner every night. But anyway, you know, when we went up, getting ready for the races, our car was a B-altered car. When we approached up, the guys up there says, you're not a B-altered, you're an A-altered. And at that time, Wally Parks was a big man then. He was up at Allentown, Pennsylvania, changed the classes up there, which was at least 3 years ago. We used to be a C-altered, he made us a B-altered. Plus he changed the track from one end to the other, which is okay. We had a big thing about the class change. I got a hold of Wally Parks, and really Wally Parks really didn't do too much for me.
Right.
So I ran the A-altered, and the fella I ran against, his name was Jay Cheatham, and he even came over to me and said, Mike, he said, what are you doing in this class?
You're in the wrong class. You're too high.
Because A was a strictly competition car.
Right.
So we ran. I mean, I didn't even lose by that much. We went over the line like that. But that night or the night after, there was a car show in town. And we come in with A-altered. The guy came over to me from the show. He says, you're not A-altered, you're a B-altered. Again, get Wally Parks. Again, Wally Parks wasn't justifying.
Right.
Now, we got two different things going on here. And I really got mad. You want me to tell the rest?
Sure.
When I grabbed Wally Parks by the neck, I wanted to kill this guy. And Bud Coons, they grabbed me. Actually, I thought I was going to go to jail. It was Eric Rickman, is the guy that was up in Allentown when they made the changes.
Now, not to cut you off, but just so the viewers know, Allentown was the track at Pennsylvania at the time.
Yes.
Right.
They ran at Neister Club.
Okay.
They also invited me on their 50th anniversary, but I didn't have a car to go. But anyway, it was Eric Rickman that really got me out of the trouble. And I really had no use for NHRA after that, because I even took my card.
Your membership card.
And I threw it at them. I didn't care if they locked me up and all. And I never had a lot of luck with NHRA.
Well,
that was me.
You know, well, it hasn't changed much, you know over the years.
I'm a New York guy, you know.
Right. No. But now that year, I don't think you mentioned the year. That was 1955. Right.
In fact, when we got there, the car was dirty, muddy, and they have places for you to wash the car.
Right.
And as the car started to get clean, the guys from California said, hey, we never seen that car around. And the other guy says, man, he says, you didn't see that. That car's from New York. Nah, that car ain't from New York. He says, that's that car, the Pride of the East. And then we got a roll car. We had a lot of guys around. The guys are pretty good. But I seen all the big guys there.
Well, the other thing is what the viewers don't know is that you're a real, true craftsman. You build everything from scratch. You build everything on your own. There's a story I want you to make mention of, too, about Don Gartlitz. You made something. I don't remember the exact story, but you made something, and he wanted to take it from you, or he wanted to buy it from you, or something.
No, Don Gartlitz, he wanted to know, but he has one of my cars in his museum.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he has one of my tractors.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he wanted to know about the aluminum body. And he said, do you use an English wheel? I said, no, Don, that was a flat old 63 wall. I said, that's all done by hand. I says, I made up the whole frame white, and I pounded it out, and the Vicks valve, hammer and slapper, and I slapped it out. And it also was welded. It wasn't TIG, acetylene and oxygen. He called me back about 3 days later. He said, you know what, I looked at that. He said, wow, Mike, he says, you really pounded that? I said, yeah, Don. I said, that's all done by hand. No English wheel, nothing like that.
Right.
And Don called me up a couple of times. He bought my motor.
Oh, he did?
And he says to me, I gave him a complete bell housing. It was a triple slipper. He said, what's the plate? That's how I adjust my clutch.
Right.
He said, what do you mean? I says, I can adjust the pressures. And he said, well, who's the bell housing? I says, it's the Donovan, but I reworked it.
Right.
Hey, well, how do you know? I says, every spring, every so amount is so many pounds of tension.
Really?
I see we run approximately, start off 600-pound clutch.
Right.
And if it's too slippery, we back off. And he was impressed by that. But I was happy the way he did the car. Come out pretty nice, you know.
That's good.
Not exactly the way, you know.
So if anybody goes there, what car are they going to look for from Mike SFORZA?
The name of the car is the Patrician. My name's on it, Mike SFORZA. Still keeps it in a nice spot. He's got a nice write-up on the car.
I really appreciate having you
I
on.
appreciate
Mike,
it,
you know what? You're just a wealth of information. I could stand here and listen to you all day.
I could stand here and tell you
I
stories
know,
all
I know
day.
you could. But you know what? We'll keep some of them for the next time.
We'll
all
do
right?
that.
Meantime,
Dennis.
thanks so much. All right?
All right, thank you,
be well,
Dennis.
Mike.
Right, take it easy now.
With me are the Dodge sisters. Not sisters, but mother and daughter. The late Charlie Dodge I have to my left is Janet, and to my right is his daughter, Nancy Hagemeyer. And I've been trying to get them on camera for a long time because I've had George Sinizek on, and you know, I've done everything with the Pacers so far, but without the other half. And so I said, you know what, one of these days we're going to meet up out in Long Island. And so today is the day. They came to the show, and I said, all right, you know, we have to take a few minutes to do a little interview. So I want to thank both of you for standing in front of the camera with me.
Thank you.
And you know, I really appreciate having me. Nancy, we've spoken so much that it's like I knew you anyway, you know. But actually, for the viewers, it's the first time we met. So I guess we'll start off with Janet, because you actually played a major part in the Pacers back in the day.
Well, I don't know how major it was, but when I first met Charlie in the 60s, him and George were racing, and I had known nothing about racing. Got into one of his trucks, on the pickup truck, on the first date, and he took it immediately to like 120 miles an hour. So we went to the racetrack, saw what it was all about, a lot of smoke and dust, and everybody was having just a great time. Heard the crowd and the engines, and it was something completely different from what I had ever experienced. So I saw people like Artie Wiener, Gartlitz, what was her name,
Shirley Muldowney.
Shirley Muldowney,
Right.
and I was not interested in getting in the cars. I was just pretty much looking to be a spectator. But Charlie thought it was important I take more of a part, so he gave me a notebook. I would keep track of the
So
heat.
you did all the statistics.
I took care of the statistics.
Right.
I was in the push car, did a lot of video shots, watched them from when they went from gas to fuel,
Right.
when they went from without parachutes to parachutes, eighth of a mile, quarter of a mile, and watched a lot of different changes in the car.
What'd you think about seeing the tribute car start up?
You know,
it's not the first time.
It's not the first time, but you know, that's one of the main things that I come for because it transports back into time.
Right.
It's such a feeling that it's hard to explain to anybody that hasn't actually experienced it, but it's all encompassing because every single sense of your body, your ears, your eyes, your nose, the vibrations, the engine roar just resonates through every bone, every cell in your body. Your heart palpitates from it.
What?
And yeah, and you're deaf from it. And I just, you know, I can't fathom all the times. No wonder Dad was half deaf, you know. All the times that he hovered over the car, even down Lawson Boulevard, just to think of the stories of them test running the car down Lawson Boulevard, which is one of the streets where the original
street where the Pace's
yeah,
shop
where
was.
Pace's shop was. They would actually, my father would close the street off because he wanted to do this test run, and they would start this thing up, and of course the neighbors would go crazy. And they started off all calling the police and, you know, reports and this, that. And actually, my father even got arrested one time because he took it upon himself to close the street off. But where the shop was located, at the end was like a hill. So they had an actual quarter-mile strip, and at the end there was a hill to help stop them.
You know what? I'm glad. I mean, this is a piece of history. This is part of the preservation. This Nancy can take with her and, you know,
Right.
put it to her own use, and I think it's valuable, you know, and I'm glad that I got the opportunity to meet both of you and
Thank you.
just you know, have a little
It was a
conversation,
pleasure. It was a
and
pleasure.
all mine.
Thank you.
So I guess we'll have to wait till next year.
Okay.
How's that?
Well, maybe sooner.
All right,
Okay.
Nancy, thanks so much.